Welcome back to the League of Hustlers, ladies and gentlemen. This is a podcast where we help you to create multiple sources of income and reach the lifestyle of your dreams. Every week, we give you proven strategies and action steps to move you closer to your goals. So grab a pen and paper and let's prepare to prosper. Today, what are we talking about today, CD?
Today, we're going to be going over, all right, one of those books, The Science of Getting Rich. All right. Science of Getting Rich. Chapter 4?
Chapter 4. One of the most important chapters in the whole jump.
Right. What's the exact title of the chapter? I don't want to get it wrong. I don't want to misquote it.
Yeah, so the exact title is The First Principle in the Science of Getting Rich. The first principle.
The first principle. And this is important. And I love how it's the first principle. And just getting right into it, thoughts become things.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. All right. The first principle is just that. That's where everything starts. All right. If you're looking to make change in your life, if you're looking to make progress, if you're chasing success, if you got these big goals or business plans, you're a student, whatever it is, you have to know that your thoughts become things. So what does that mean? Okay. It means that everything that's happening to you right now is a result of the way you were previously thinking. Those thoughts led to your actions, things that you decided to act upon. It shaped the way that you just made decisions, essentially. Okay? So that right there is very important. It's a broad topic, and we can just dive into that for probably weeks on what that really means. But we want to keep it surface level and so it's easy to digest, but at the root of this is your thoughts become things.
Right. And of course, this is from The Science of Getting Rich, like we introduced with. And this concept of your thoughts becoming things is so critical. In my opinion, every single thing revolves around this. All right? Every single thing. In order to create something, man must first think about it. Right? Any and everything that you can even think about being created, man had to first think it.
Right.
And then go through the process of modifying existing things that are in nature, right? Adding a little bit, taking a little bit away, putting this here, putting this there, combining this, combining that, and then the thing, whatever it is made. Okay? Think about this marker. At some point, someone had to think about creating this. Right? And this is a small example, but if you just apply that to every single thing that you can think of, it originated with a thought. Everything that we have up to this point in the world originated with a thought. And the book goes so far as to kind of break down the origins of the universe and how that came about through thought, right? As detailed in the Bible, right? But not to get so esoteric, but just understand that thoughts become things. So with that being said, we have to guard our thoughts. We have to guard the things that we are allowing to fester and grow in our minds, okay? Because, of course, the old adage about, it's whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. I think Henry Ford said it, right? And that's what he was alluding to, okay? Whatever we think about, it manifests itself in one way or another. So we have to guard our thoughts, because your thoughts become things. All right.
Yeah, that's a really exciting thing, because it leads to the fact that you're basically an idea away, or a thought away from where you want to be, where you see yourself being. You're, the completion of that big goal. You're really just a thought away from actually getting that done.
Right.
And just like H was just saying, it's like you have to guard your thoughts. So what that means is that you have to pay attention and be aware of the type of things you're consuming. Like, even on a nutrition level, on a dietary level, you are what you eat. So it's kind of that same thing, but just with your mentality, your attitude. The type of things you consume on a regular basis will intrude your thoughts, will kind of, will essentially become a part of your thought pattern, the type of books that you're reading,
Right.
the type of TV you're watching, the type of music you're listening to,
The mental diet.
Right, exactly, a mental diet, the type of people that you're hanging around.
Right.
All you have to choose, your content wisely, which is why you need to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Ding. Subscribe
Indeed.
to the Hustlers, and let's prepare to prosper.
Yes.
But seriously though, it's a mental diet. You have to, someone put it, like, I don't know who the quote came from, look it up, but you need to stand guard at the door of your mind. And that's what they were talking about. Like, being on guard, watching the type of stuff that you consume. Not to say that you can't consume any information that's negative at all, because that would be very difficult to do in the world that we live in. But you need to at least be aware of that information and be aware of how it affects you. So that way you can make a conscious decision on whether or not you can continue to do that, or just kind of sparingly consume that type of content. But it's a major thing. Stand guard at the door of your mind. All right.
Yep.
It will make a difference.
Yeah, man. And so let's dig a little bit deeper, right? Let's dig a little bit deeper. So, for instance, I like to make the analogy of like a farmer planting or gardening or working his farm. A farmer working his farm, right? And whatever that farmer plants in the ground, it's going to grow, right? So you have the farmer, right? And he's planting seeds. And then you have the earth, right? I like to consider the farmer as your conscious. And I don't know if I spelled that right, so don't hold it against me. As a matter of fact, I like to be an accurate speller, so we're just gonna put C right here. That's gonna represent consciousness. All right, and then the ground is your subconscious. All right, and so the seeds that's being planted are your thoughts. Okay, and the farmer is throwing out seeds all the time. We're constantly dropping seeds. How? With our thoughts. We're constantly dropping seeds with our thoughts. And so what we're allowing as the farmer, as the consciousness, our thinking mind, our reasoning mind, what we're allowing to be planted in our farm or on our farm is in turn growing.
Right.
Whether bad or good. bad or good. That's the key. It doesn't matter. Think about a literal farmer. Think about the literal earth. If you put, and I can't remember who said this, I want to say like Earl Nightingale, but if you plant poison, let's say you plant poison ivy, and a foot away from the poison ivy, you plant an apple tree or apple seed. So you plant poison ivy seed and you plant an apple seed. Both of them are gonna grow. It doesn't matter that they're right beside each other. None of that matters. If you plant both of them in that same soil, both of them are gonna grow, regardless. So this is the same thing that's happening. We can choose to plant poison, or we can choose to plant apple seeds, right? Or fruit. And both of them are gonna grow. So our thoughts are the seeds that we're constantly putting out there, right? Our conscious mind is thinking the thoughts and then translating them into our subconscious. So these thought seeds are being planted into our fertile, very fertile subconscious mind in some way or another. Now, this is the part that we have no clue on how this works, but it just does. It's almost like a vibration that goes out that attracts. And, you know, of course, this is kind of getting into, or it's all based off of like the law of attraction and stuff like that, or the law of attraction is based off of this book, right? And this is what they're talking about. It's like a vibration that goes out that gets in tune and in line and in harmony with the thing that's like that vibration. So in order to back up and kind of explain this a little bit better, a negative vibration is going to put you in tune with negative things. A positive vibration or a positive thought, a positive seed is going to grow or put you in tune with positive things, right? So we have to really guard our thoughts and really be mindful of the types of things that we're thinking, of the types of seeds that we're planting. And this goes from music, this goes from what we read, this goes from what we watch on TV, the news, just everything. The people that we hang around, the conversations that we have. If you're constantly dropping these thought seeds of negativity, your subconscious it doesn't care. It's just going to reproduce whatever you're thinking, whatever seeds you're planting, period. You know?
Another thing to look at too, since we're talking about essentially, a farmer and growing things in that way. One thing to point out is that if you only plant good things, that's awesome. However, you're still going to have to do work to keep out the negative things. I don't know if anybody has done any gardening or, whatever. If you have at any level, it doesn't matter. You know that weeds grow on their own. You don't have to actually go plant those types of things. They grow on their own. And if you don't do anything about them, then they will be a big factor in your garden as well. So you can nourish, your fruit, your apple tree or whatever, but you also at some point in time, you're going to have to go out and you're going to have to pull up those weeds. And that's basically what we're talking about, standing guard at the door of your mind. It's kind of like, yeah, you may have, a negative thought, but you have to be attentive to it. You have to be aware, like, okay, that's not where I need to be. Get rid of that. All right. The types of conversations, the types of things you're consuming, the content, if it's not in alignment with you and what you're trying to do, then those are things that you need to uproot and remove. It's as simple as that. It's great. I mean, it's awesome, man. But because it's in your hands. We have essentially the power to kind of, to be successful. We can be successful starting simply by choosing to think the right things. It's a choice, and getting rid of all of the negativity, and avoiding that, staying away from those types of things. Stay on track with your goals, stay in alignment with your goals, and keep moving forward in that direction, and you will be successful. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, yeah, and to that point, you know, this represents like he was saying, other people, right? These over here are people, places, and things, right? Like nouns, right?
Yeah.
This represents the radio. This represents music, right? Movies, news, just all sorts of things. Some can be good in it, and some can be bad. And that's the thing about it. There's great music out here that puts you in a positive vibration, that helps you plant positive seeds. There's great movies out here that puts you in a positive vibration and plants positive seeds. It's good news out here, right? It's good people out here. It's different people out here that are in negative vibrations. And this is when you think about, especially like different environments that people are placed in, right? Quote unquote, the hood, right? Think about what they're facing in the hood. They're facing negative images constantly. They're listening to negative music majority of the time, right? A lot of negativity going on in a really bad location. You have people selling drugs. You have, hookers on a corner. You have just all sorts of things. You have bad food, food deserts where you have to go a long way to find like a grocery store. You have liquor stores, you have pawn shops selling guns, you have gun stores, you have all of these things that are causing you, if you're in that environment, to think negative thoughts. And this is why that generational thing, what they call generational curses, keeps happening. And it's really not that it's a curse, it's just the environment. And it's just that the people that are placed in those environments aren't equipped with the knowledge of this, that their thoughts become things, right? And when they are introduced to this knowledge, so definitely share it with someone, as we do, and as what we'll do to help them realize that their thoughts become things, to elevate them out of that situation. So definitely share it. But as they come to this knowledge that their thoughts control what is produced in their life, that's when you see people making it out of that situation, right? So what we have to do, so the question is, how do you stop this over here from happening? How do you stop outside influences from planting it on your farm? You got to cut out that music, that destructive music. You have to cut out the destructive movies. You got to cut out or stay away from the destructive news. Or if you, and sometimes we can't help it, right? You got to watch the news to know what's going on. You may be in an environment where people are playing music that's destructive, but you have no choice to turn it off and you just have to listen to it. Or you're working in an environment around negative people. What I like to tell people, and what I do, and as a testament in my personal life, is the way that we weed out our farm from the weeds and the negative influences is through affirmations, right? It's through reading and listening to positive music, right? We just have to take the initiative, right? To actively undo the planning, to actively go and pluck out those weeds.
Right.
And the main way is through affirmations. So even though you may be in that environment, And let's say, maybe you're not in the hood, but you work with toxic people, or you're in toxic relationships, or you're around stuff that's negative. You can, in your head, right, say those affirmations. You can take that time in the morning to meditate on positive things. You can take the initiative. Why? Because thoughts become things. So be the farmer, be the smart farmer, be the vigilant farmer that's blocking this stuff from getting planted in your farm. And do that by affirmations, reading positive stuff, listening to positive stuff, like take charge.
Right, absolutely. Great points, man. And with that, I think it's time for the challenge.
Yeah, man.
You already know, League of Hustlers, we have to give you something to walk away with, all right? Something you can implement in your day-to-day. The challenge for this episode is, number 1, come up with an affirmation of your own. Affirm something. Make it in alignment with your goals. Align it with something that you're trying to reach, the direction that you're headed in life. Affirm that thing. Write down these affirmations, okay? And then go over them. Review it, memorize it even. And just throughout the day, think about that. Recite that. Read it. Record yourself saying it, play it in your headset. Whatever works for you. However, get the affirmation and use it throughout your day to realign yourself, because all around you, the world is going to be attempting to plant negative seeds in your garden.
Yes.
And it's up to you to protect it. All right. So stand guard at the door of your mind. All right. Make sure you're plucking all those negative thoughts out, removing them from the garden. Number 2, you're going to have this list of affirmations that you're going to be able to use to help keep you on track.
Yes.
Some of this stuff you can't avoid. It's impossible to totally remove ourselves from it, but it's our job to understand its place, and it doesn't belong in our garden because we're moving in a positive direction. Right. So get your affirmations. Write them down, memorize them, get them in your headset, record yourself, whatever you have to do, and start using.
Right. And just to reiterate the importance of that, understand what has to happen. You have to think about it. You got to think about that affirmation. So boom, right there. That's the start of it. You're thinking it. Then you write it down. That's a second level. And then you're reading it multiple times a day. That's a third level. So understand what's happening. First you're thinking it, then you're writing it, and then you're reading it. You see how that works?
Right. And that is you taking control of your thoughts. Right. That's you intentionally planting what you want to have grow in your life. And that's how that works. Just like that.
And that's critical. That's critical. All right. So again, this is from the 4th chapter in the Science of Getting Rich. This is part of a series. So make sure you find the playlist of the Science of Getting Rich playlist and watch the other videos. We're going to go through the whole book and make sure that we break it down for you. So of course, as always, share the episode, smash that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Let us know what's on your mind. Thoughts become things. If you can see it in your head, you can hold it in your hand. All right, as they say. But that's it. Another great episode. Let us know. Hit us up as always, questions@leagueofhustlers.com. All right.